some settings up real
Let's,
quick. So, and then when she comes in, I need to make sure this is working. Chat will appear. Tanks a lot. Late. Yeah, man. How you doing, Tanks? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That's the question. Can you hear me? Am I live? Let me see. Can I hear myself? Excuse me. All right. Does it? Okay. Hold on. I gotta do some. I gotta do some. Can I pop that out? No, hold on. Hold on, Tanks. I gotta go in here. I know, man. I gotta do some cleanup here. So as soon as I can do this cleanup, pop out chat, copy this, close this. We started late. That's okay, man. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. So
they might just be. They might just
uh,
be.
Control V. Sorry, I just want to see. Oh no, that's not what I want. That's ugly. That's not what I want. Nah. We'll just keep it like that.
Push it this
I wonder
way.
if my
No.
alerts. All right, okay. All right, man. I just wanted to make sure Pat can't. I mean, can let me see. Can you say something? Can you say something, Pat?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I want to make sure I hear you on the stream.
Okay. Um, my mic sounds nice. Check one. Can you hear me?
I'm waiting. Hold on a second. Okay. Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you. Beautiful. All right. Okay, so we're here. Let me see who we got. We don't have it. We have a few people in here. I don't know, including myself.
Oh, there goes the dog again, right at the same time.
Why does he get your dog, man?
I don't
Get
know.
your dog.
Oh,
We're here talking about Trump again. I have my good friend here from last night back again, and I have another friend that's going to talk to him as soon as she joins. As soon as she joins, we can get back into this Trump discussion. Pat, did you want to continue your tirade from?
yeah. Let me prelude the conversation by, I'm wearing a mask this evening because, there's it's going to be a topic of discussion later. So I just felt the need to just, come in full costume for the
Full
circus. Yeah, for the circus that we're
circus.
discussing. Yeah,
Okay.
that we're discussing. But last evening there was some good opinions from people, uh, across the board, about how they felt. And again, this is something that I'm curious about, which is why it's called Trump Curious, about people's support, particularly minorities, about the support shown or beliefs shown for Donald Trump. So, it just now understand this because somebody kind of shortened the conversation by saying that I'm watching too much CNN. So let me preface all of this by saying I don't watch any news outlets at all.
Hi,
None.
Susan.
The information I get and what I kind of go by are what's coming out of Donald Trump's mouth. So there's no news station that's giving me my information. The facts, when somebody speaks something, and Trump has, somebody said last night, oh, they love him because he has no filter. Well, that's good because that is what should be listened to when you have no filter. And the other thing is, for the border issue, I'm good with that. And I didn't vote. So when we start going down when we go down this journey of discussion, just understand I watch no media outlets giving me information about Donald Trump. I didn't vote at all this year for a reason. So let's not get my issues confused by somebody leading me down a road. As far as my opinions, and I think some people walked away last night without piercing questions that they could have or didn't have time to answer. But tonight, hopefully, we'll get to that. So again, I want to hear from the supporters and issues, disagreeable, not disagreeable, whatever, that people feel that this is the right guy to be in office at this point.
What's going on, Ray? How you doing? Just a couple people just saying hi. How y'all doing? Um, yeah. So Pat, I don't know who might show up tonight, but I mean, we can start discussing. So, I need to get a charger. We can start discussing some.
That's that's what
You
I
need it.
had to do the same thing.
Oh man,
So
that's all
we
right.
can, we can cover the issues.
Oh wait a minute. Here's Angela showed up. Hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
Angela's is showing up. Uh, Let me see if I see her. I need to get a charger though. Sorry. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for hanging with us. She hadn't shown up. Wait a minute. Did she leave? Did she leave? Well, I don't know what happened. I saw she came in. We are gonna have a good discussion. I was gonna get her to take you down, man. Where did?
Man, I need to be taken down. I just I don't get it. I'm clueless as to, certain things, and minorities is, and then, actually Caucasian women. I would love to hear their point of view, especially when it comes to the diversity and inclusion. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's define that.
Yeah,
What is Let's define that person. What is what's the D diversity? What is diversity? Is that Am I wrong, or is that not a mixture of ethnicities, races, whatever you want to call it? So
well,
do I have the D right?
you have the D right. Diversity, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a set of principles and practices that
Okay.
aim to create a more inclusive and just society. Yes, so the D is right. Diversity, recognizing and valuing people of different races, ethnicities, genders, sexual orientations, religions, abilities, and more. Oh, there's
So what
Angela
is the
again.
E?
Hold on a second there. Yeah, the
Okay.
E is equity.
Okay. So how
Oh,
does equity?
hold on,
Ain't
hold
see
on,
nobody.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me, y'all bear with me. I have to switch stuff up. Hello, Angela.
Hi, how are you? Is this live or
This
something?
is already live, so y'all got to bear with me out there because
Okay.
I didn't know this is gonna look crazy. But hold on a second, y'all. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was gonna mess up my whole. Oh wait a minute, I might can do it that way. Yeah, hold on, hold on. Oh yeah, Angela here to take you down. Angela, this is my friend Pat. He is.
Now, let me
He cannot stand. Hey,
okay,
Man,
Donald
get a little
Trump.
you
screenshot
you
in.
you are just putting me out there as
Yeah,
when I'm trying to get an understanding of
same thing.
this
Same
man. Oh
thing.
yeah, well, okay, all right, yeah, you can
Same
say,
thing.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that'll work. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Let me look. Yeah. Okay. This
Uh,
Caucasian woman voted for Kamala. Susan. Okay, Susan. Hey, Vivek, what's going on, man? Sorry, y'all we got chatters. Oh,
People
oh,
coming in, yeah, yeah.
hold on, man. I need to get. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to change something real quick. I do not want names on here. So let me But y'all can go ahead and talk while I'm. Pat, you can continue what you were asking. I'm gonna do this.
Well, this is an for me. It's an understanding, of the support that, especially in the minority community, the support you give to Donald Trump, and then don't just leave it as an emotion or feeling.
Okay.
Tell me some, give me some factual based information on how that has worked for you, and not only you, or for the people of your ethnicity and race in the past.
God dang
You
it!
know, so from his
You're not
first
talking to
term,
Angela right now, are you talking to Angela right now?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Well,
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
so you let me hear. I don't want to just be a one-sided express a point of view and cut anybody off. I want to hear this is for my informational process as well. To understand people as a whole. When I hear something, say if you heard, hey, if you throw 8 rocks in the air,
Hmm.
five of them are not going to come down. Wouldn't you ask
Right.
questions? Wouldn't you ask questions about that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is my feeling about this guy. So tell me, as a minority, I don't know the mixture of, the ethnic background that you have, but and that's not well. It's actually it is important to this discussion because some people, like we had a person on last night, very nice young woman, who was a mixture of certain things, but really kind of supported Trump against one of her, one of the blends of her, you know, of her culture. So we can just tell me that, or you consider yourself, and this is all, and we'll get to this too. So, what do you consider yourself as a woman in America? You're when you fill out any kind of resume or job application. What do you put on?
I'm African American. Um,
African American.
my nationality is Italian and African American, but I consider myself African American.
Okay, and I love that. So go. It's open to you. So tell me why. This support. I don't know if it's support or belief in the system that he's running. Just tell me. Just tell me in your own words why.
Okay, so when you think about our options as to, or look at the options that we had as presidential candidates,
Hmm.
it was a little difficult to kind of side with a woman. A lot of us, that is our reasoning for voting for who we voted for. When you look at different countries, a lot of them don't have women don't have rights. So,
Hmm.
when you talk about leading our country, a lot of us had to go with who we felt like would be more suitable for those challenges when it comes to going against different countries. You get what I'm saying?
I
So,
do.
um, that I think that was like the number one thing. It's not that we wanted to vote for Trump. We just a lot of us didn't have other options. So we had
Uh,
to think about those. But in a sense of um, what did he do in the past? I think some of the thing, a lot of the things I must say I don't agree with as an African American woman,
hmm.
but some things I do agree with. Like
I bet.
when he signed the bill today to kind of
What bill?
segregate the men or women that consider themselves
Oh yes, he sure
as
did.
or the
Ah.
transgenders, let me say that the transgenders, they separated those. I mean, he separated those individuals from competing against us 100% women or 100% men. So that is something, a
Hmm.
lot some things like that I do stand with. But also, he's when you think about business minded, he's very intelligent when it comes to business,
Mm-hmm.
and finances. So, but I think, and another thing, I think a lot of African Americans looked at what he did during COVID and voted for him, for those reasons. Me personally, that wasn't the reason. My reason for voting for him, like I said, I kind of had my hands tied as far as having a woman as a president. Um,
Okay.
so, but I mean, we got to give the man a shot, right?
Yes, right. You got to give
Well,
him a shot. Don't you think so, Pat?
Hmm.
yeah, another shot. This
Another
isn't
shot,
the,
right?
yeah, this isn't the first shot. So for COVID, and that's why I'm wearing the mask tonight, because I wanted to bring up a little something about COVID, how he handled COVID. It,
Okay.
it it went from, and these are his words, and you missed it before. So let me let you know in case you missed it. I didn't vote this year at all because I didn't feel that there were any qualified candidates on the ballot. Um, I don't watch any news source at all,
Hmm.
never. So my information comes from watching Donald Trump. So, what's the best thing that you can get by watching what somebody says on a microphone in the public eye? There's no better news source. So, when you mirror people's words
Hmm.
to people, anybody else would kind of stand down. But when you mirror words to Trump or his supporters, they just don't care. So so COVID, the man, clearly said that he thought COVID was fake. He's still saying that today, that COVID was a fake disease, so it wasn't that
Hmm.
important. So this is out of his own mouth, not from a report from CNN or what everybody calls fake news.
Absolutely. I recall him
So
saying that.
there's the other thing to address with his
Now,
policies.
hold on.
Oh,
Do you
go
mind if
ahead.
I address that? So,
Yeah.
was he saying that? I mean, I heard him say that, but I don't think I took it as him saying, well, like COVID is fake, people not dying from it. I think he mean like it's a man-made virus that came from China.
Okay.
So with that, I think that's what he meant by fake.
So, well, and we did a little bit on
Not
interpret
saying
it.
that, I don't think he
Yeah,
meant it as, oh, it's fake people, fake dying and things like that. No, people
yeah,
really are, really was and still are dying
yeah.
from COVID. I think that he was just, I think he meant that by, in his wording could have been,
And
a little off, but I think he meant it as, it's a fake virus,
and we
a
went through
man made
interpretation,
virus.
and we went through interpretations last night. We talked a little bit. I talked a little bit about everyone interpreting what this man is clearly showing you who he is. So you interpret this message the way you interpret it and still find a way to forgive so much. So the couple of things that you mentioned are, and this is what I want to really get into. So let me ask you this,
Uh-huh.
as a woman. So this diversity and inclusion
Hmm.
thing. Let me just get right to it with that.
Okay.
So, do you believe that's something that should be gone from the workplace as an African American woman?
Absolutely not. Now, I 1000% do not support that because it is discrimination going on in the workplace. There is,
Hmm.
um, people getting treated differently because of their skin tone, skin
Hmm.
color, ethnicity, their, right, their background. Yes, absolutely. I do not stand with him on that, and I mean, I'm lost for words.
Yeah, like
That is even, something that he would even consider, or that's something that we're doing here in 2025. You know,
Yeah,
I hate that we are even going through
yeah.
that to this day, you know, because I mean, we should be done with racism and having to fight for our rights and, you know, as black people, you know, we have to fight for positions
Yeah.
in these jobs. So I mean, it's a lot of that going on. That's like the most um the times where African Americans are treated horribly in the
Yeah.
workforce. Like that's when they're actually where white people actually can be powerful over us because they make the decisions on who gets positions, who gets jobs, and everything. A person that
Um,
is educated is less likely to get a position because of the color of their skin or a high paying position, even though they're qualified for a position. But a white
mhm.
person can come off the streets and you know get the without any education can get the job, you know,
Hmm.
over a black person that's educated.
Can I
And
Yeah.
say?
let me say, hold on, William, before you say this. And that is why, if I see, and okay, this is just my personal reasoning, but if I see a white person on the street panhandling, I will not give them a dime because they can walk into my job tomorrow, put on a suit, clean themselves up, and be my boss.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I
That's
I
tough.
do not stand with him when it comes to that.
Okay,
Yes, William.
real
The-
quick. Hey, Christian. Yeah, man. Again, I don't support Donald Trump or the Democratic Party at all. Good to see you, Christian. One polar because he's Canadian. Okay, Tinman. Tinman has a question that maybe y'all can expound on. Tinman says, "What rights have you lost?" Did you say something? Did somebody say they lost? So, oh, he says, "Unreal what I am hearing." So Tinman doesn't. I guess he was talking about you, Angela. What you were saying. He was asking you, "What rights have you lost?"
As of now, I mean, I have not lost. Well, I have not lost any rights right now. But
y-
in
y-
the
But I guess Timmy, can you
Let,
clarify? Hold on, Timmy, can
yeah,
you
what do
clarify
you
what you
mean?
mean
Like,
let
by
me
rights?
let me
have it affected me?
let me ask him a question too as he expounds on this.
Mm-hmm.
What rights do you think that she stands to lose? Do you understand what's going on over here? What rights do you think that can possibly be taken away from her because of this act, because of this thought process? It's not an act. One guy on the show last night, an African American gentleman, said DNI is a program, right? Or program, not a law. But
Right,
what
right.
rights, so you're asking her a question as to what has she lost. How can she answer that? Because who's going to come in the workplace and tell her that we're not going to promote you because you're black? We're not going to hire, we're not going to hire you because you're black. So how would she know? So
Mhm.
that's an unfair question to pose to her because no one's going to come and tell her that because it's hidden. Everything what's going on with it, and I didn't want to get into this right off the bat, but when you're talking about a sense of entitlement that this world has to the select, well, not the select, yeah, the select number of people. This guy is, Tinman, he's sitting in
Yeah,
Canada,
Tinman.
right?
No, I don't know where
Tinman?
Tinman. Tinman, I'm not for sure
Oh,
where you from, brother.
oh, okay. He's asking a question with, I think, with closed eyes because he's still looking at a picture that everyone is still equal, and I applaud him for the concept of believing that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people that live that not to be true every day. So she can't answer that question because she doesn't know what she has been bypassed for at her current position. She has no idea. So she can't answer that question. So it's a loaded question because she doesn't know. Like young lady last night said, "Hey, I'm a strong, educated woman, you know, and she just happened to be of Hispanic gender." So when you're walking down the halls of your job, of your place of employment, however, if you want to be politically correct about it, you know, the workplace, right? When somebody identifies you, if they don't know your name, do you think they're going to call you a strong, educated woman? Do you think they're going to say, "Oh, there goes this Harvard grad, or this U.S. grad, or this, or even this gorgeous woman"? No. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, "Oh, that's the Hispanic girl down the hall," if they're politically correct. If not, they'll say, "Oh, that's the Mexican girl down the hall." "Oh, well, no, you need such and such, go to cubicle 47 and see the black girl that's in there. It's a
Right.
black girl." Nobody is, and that's identity. Anywhere you go, people identify you by what they think that you are.
That's true.
So that's an unfair question for him to ask you, because you can't answer what you've been passed by, because no one's going to come and admit, because it's still, at the end of the day, unless Trump passes a new law, it's still against the law to discriminate against somebody by, race, creed, color, gender, whatever. It's still against the law. So nobody's going to come and tell you, "Oh, we bypassed you because you're black." So she can't answer that guy's question, because she doesn't know what she's been bypassed for, based on her color, or based on what she, represents, or claims. So that's not a fair question for him to ask. What has she missed? You know. So that's just my
I agree
input
with
on his
you.
question. Yeah.
I
Beautiful,
agree.
beautiful. Real quick, Christian says, "Okay, guys, you asked for this. He wants to get into y'all. But
Hmm.
now Angela supports Trump. Christian, let's make sure y'all understand this. Pat
Yeah.
does not. But Christian says, but this the racism thing. The three of us kind of are in agreement about racism. Uh, you asked, but you guys are talking about racism in the U.S. and Canada. Did you guys know there's an open air slave market going on right now in Libya since the fall of Gaddafi?
Is that the people that our president wants to keep out of the country? I think so. So
Maybe.
here's one cold fact to me. Over the years, the United States has been victimized and attacked because we haven't minded our own business. Okay, so
Absolutely.
why the subject of what's going on in Libya and anywhere else in the country? Why is that a part of the discussion when there's so much wrong right here in the United States? You got those white people that are out there on the corner that no one would give a dime to, and you want to help Libya? Why don't you plant feet on the ground and take care of the homeless people here? Some of them are veterans that
Veterans, absolutely.
that believe the big stars and stripes story about them being protected for the rest of their life because they fought for their country. That didn't happen. It's not happening, right? It's just ridiculous. So for you to bring Libya into the conversation, hey, you got a big heart, you care about people. I applaud that. But for you to bring another country, hey, let's clean our own house first. Let's clean our own house. We have people over here. Is somebody in you have relatives in Libya? Do you have a fondness for Libya? Is Libya
Well, he
doing anything to help the U.S.? I'm
well
sorry. Go ahead.
he also says 100,000 plus Africans have been sold to India and Asia. Where is your shock, people? That's Christian again. He's trying to
Where's
act,
yours?
he's trying to say, yeah, why aren't you shocked about that? Why aren't you appalled? It's kind of like when people say black on black crime.
I
How come
haven't.
you?
A
Go
hundred.
ahead, Angela. Go ahead, Angela. Let
No,
Okay,
Angela
I'm
yeah,
go.
just saying
Angela.
I wasn't aware of that.
Well,
Christian. We would have to look into a lot of this, but look, we don't. Again, well, let me just speak for
Yeah.
themselves.
well,
Go
they
ahead,
they
Pat.
were sold. They were sold to Libya. Was that his
I would
comment?
have to pull that up. Let me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Y'all
no,
keep
no,
talking.
no,
I have
no,
to
no,
do
no,
some
no.
research on that before I can
Just
answer
from his
that.
statement. No, I'm not saying he's wrong. I just wanted to, clarify. He said they were sold to
Yes,
Libya. Okay.
yes. I would have
Well,
to.
you know what?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of us a long time ago came over here at no charge.
That
No charge.
is true.
A whole lot of black people were brought to the United States at no charge. At least Libya's charging,
Hmm.
So you know what? I'm sorry, but you know you hey, I sympathize with them also because they're black. But
Exactly.
that is going on. Why is that going on? That's what you need to get to the root of. Why is that going on? Who is profiting from that?
Exactly.
Who is profiting from that? That's what he needs to dig into. At the end of everybody who is profiting in something in the world. And I don't want to go on a big racist rant right now, but at the end of the day, everybody who's profiting from anything like that, you can back it up to, you know, you call it what you want to.
Uh,
You can back it up
Brother, say
to,
what it is. Go ahead and say what it is.
hey,
Is this
you,
is this like unfiltered,
Yeah, it is unfiltered.
raw?
But I'm
yeah,
glad.
man. I
I'm
Okay.
mean,
glad. You know,
you know,
and I want to
I mean,
shift the conversation here in a minute. But let me. Cosmic Gestures also says you still can't discriminate against someone who has the same qualifications as someone else. You just can't hire someone because they're less qualified just because skin. I'm guessing that's kind of a DEI reference there, Pat.
who's going to be honest about that, though, Will?
It-
Who's going to be honest about that? When they need a black person to fill a quota, they need a black person, no matter what qualifications they have. That same, they could have, a white person could have walked in there and interviewed for that same job, but they were like, no, you know what? We just had a discrimination suit, like, a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So to better our stance with the public, we need to bring on a couple of more Hispanics. We need to bring on a couple of more African Americans. We need to bring on a couple of people from other countries. That'll keep us out of the line of sight of the public. This is real. I was in corporate America for 40 plus years. I worked for a company that is in Israel. And I watched the disrespect that men just protrude on women there, and how they feel about United women in the United States overall. So I've seen a lot. So I'm telling you, if you don't think that that kind of thing exists in the workplace and D&I, hey, DEI, guess what? The hugest benefactors of that have been white women. You can pull that up in any stat. White women have benefited from that by and large. They stepped up. They got equal, well, not equal pay because they're still not equal pay, but they got better pay. They got better positions. They got all of
Mhm.
that. And these are the women that still voted for Trump who wants to end that. He wants to end what brought them to a new place in their work spot. You know, so if you don't think that kind of thing is going on where companies like, oh man, we really like this guy, but man, we just can't right now. We're under the microscope. We can't use another white guy. We need this. And then the little sense of entitlement creeps into our soul as minorities. Oh, I got this job over this guy because I was better than him, and I worked my whole life to gain this position. I spent all this money on education that was insisted I needed by who? Yeah. So, so I worked my way to this. Is any recruiter, any manager, anybody going to tell you that, oh, yeah, you're qualified enough, but, you're just a little bit black enough, to get this job, or a little bit Hispanic enough to get this job, or Asian enough to get this job. We need more of you. I was literally accidentally told that by a company that I interviewed with them over the phone. And this is when I was younger. I think I developed a little more African American in my voice tone right now. But before, I was made fun of in high school because my friends would say, "Oh, you sound like you're white. You sound like you're a white guy." And I interviewed with a company who was in Chicago from Memphis, and I talked to them on the phone, and they hired me over the phone. I flew to Chicago, and when I tell you it took them an hour and a half to find me in the airport because they were looking for someone else. And they didn't tell me that. They finally held up a sign and we got in the car. Quiet ride. When we had our first event that night, enough of them got drunk enough to tell me what really happened. because all of a sudden we're cool now. Oh, Pat, we got to
You
tell
get
you, man.
give them a drink,
Your,
that's all it takes.
your name is Patrick Isabel. We were looking for a white guy. They interviewed on the phone. Management told us to look for a white guy named Patrick Isabel. They told them these people confessed that to me. No biggie. I was happy to have the job. This is young Pat. I was happy to have the job. You think they hired me for my experience? After that, you think they cared?
No, but let me ask Angela. So, Angela, Trump, he exacerbates the situation, right? He is against everything Pat is saying. Well, how do you reconcile that? This is the question, I guess, because I'm trying to get some some opposition
Yeah.
to you right now. Y'all are agreeing, and I don't want that. I don't want
Okay.
y'all to agree at all.
Okay, so
I don't want
I
you to
mean,
agree. So I
okay,
need y'all
let me
to.
just say this about me. I don't believe that there's a wrong or a right answer. Okay, I think people look at things. Okay, so this is how my mind goes works. So do you remember that dress that went viral where some people saw blue and black
Mm-hmm.
and then other people saw white and gold? I think there's no right or wrong answer for anything. So with should I wait till he come back or
Oh no, just go ahead.
okay. So with that being said, I can agree to disagree. Like I agree with what you're saying. Like I know that I worked in corporate America pretty much my whole life since I
Hmm.
started working. So I know, a little bit about how they try to how they use minorities when it comes to filling positions,
Hmm.
and they pacify that for legal purposes, if you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying. So
Oh yeah,
they
I do.
it have to be diversity in the workforce. So they will sometimes they do look at qualifications, and sometimes they just go off, hey, we just need to fill this position to have diversity in the workforce. But also,
I'm,
let's see, how can I disagree with this?
yeah,
I'll
please, because I don't
Yeah.
like this. I don't like this at all. Y'all,
Too
we
much
you
music.
you
Okay.
know Trump is a businessman. You like the business acumen of Trump.
Okay, so
Yep.
okay,
Oh,
let's
oh,
back. Let's go to that. The
yeah.
business
Well,
acumen.
yeah. Let Angela. I'm gonna let Angela tell her what she
Yep.
likes about it, so you can disagree with it, because y'all
Okay,
don't.
the
I don't
biz.
like
Okay,
this at
yeah,
all.
his
I don't like
business
this.
sense. What do you like about his business sense?
Well, let me tell you this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You have
Tell me.
not seen you have to give it to him. A lot of people was able to quit their jobs and pursue their passion with their entrepreneurship since he's been when I mean during COVID, when he and a lot I'm speaking on African Americans. A
Okay.
lot of people, took that opportunity during COVID shutdown and those stimulus packages and everything, and they
Oh yeah.
invested into their businesses and was able to quit their jobs and become entrepreneurs. Right now, let's be real, you see a lot of young African American entrepreneurs, and you didn't see that prior to you didn't see many of that going on prior to Trump
Yeah.
being elected. So
And
those are facts. I know
yeah,
a
and
lot of young people that have quit their jobs to pursue, their passion as entrepreneurs, whether it's owning a boutique or, um, just doing anything that they love. Seamstress, like music, anything, but and they're thriving
with with
in
with,
their
with
field
okay, with free
and
money.
still standing
Yeah,
5 years later.
yeah, with free money, right? With free money. So that
Free money that they
yeah,
flipped. Let's be real.
entitled them to a sense of a future that was robbed from African Americans from slavery on until us not having the opportunity to build wealth because of being held back. So you toss out some money to a few, and by the way, there's statistics that show a lot of people that took those monetary benefits from the government and got arrested because they fraudulent businesses or not continuing the business practices that they had because it was free money.
I,
But
mhm.
at the bottom of all of this, so he gave free money to people. Yeah, the right thing to do, especially to minorities. Every year we should get a check for just being a minority. But
Don't you go back to
as
that.
I
Don't
as
you
as
wouldn't.
go
as a
Now
back.
I wouldn't
as
say
a bit
that.
as a businessman, this man, if you can name me a business that he hasn't bankrupted. He had a university that he opened that was proved to be phony, fell apart, bankrupted that. This is a man that has bankrupted everything. He has a Trump Tower
Hmm.
in Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
Don't you know he doesn't even own that anymore? He lost it in bankruptcy. They kept the name to draw tourists. He doesn't even own that anymore. He's bankrupted pretty much all of the business that his father funded to give him and start his life. So, and then we move outside of that. So being a good businessman, so somebody who, like I asked last night, if you were the CEO of your corporation,
Hmm.
you know, Angela Corporation,
Hmm.
big, beautiful building, you're the CEO, and a guy came in and handed you a resume
Hmm.
that said, and on the resume you looked and said, well, let's look down your resume. Oh, great experience. You got, you built wealth from when your dad gave you money. So you didn't build it from the ground up. Your dad built it and passed it on to you. But you went on to bankrupt a lot of businesses. It's on your resume, and you're sitting there reading it. And then you went later on to life to be accused of public offices that you had where you accumulated 34 felonies. And you saw that on his resume. Would you still say, you know what, you're hired? Would you still say, oh yeah, come on aboard, you're hired? Would you hire this guy?
That's a good question. Would you hire him?
Anybody listening?
I feel
Anybody
like
listening?
everybody should, is. I feel like everybody deserves a second chance. So me
A second.
personally,
So you
Wait,
would
wait.
hire you would
Go
hire,
ahead, let her finish. What were you going to say,
okay.
Angela?
so me personally, but
I'm with
yeah,
you. I'm with you. Yes.
yeah, I feel like
Every
everybody
Yeah,
deserves a
everybody
second chance.
deserves a second
So
chance for a mistake. I'll give you two mistakes. I'll give you three mistakes.
But
This
people,
man,
in fact, don't
what's
people make multiple? People make multiple mistakes, like throughout their whole, like probably throughout their day, they'll make multiple mistakes. I mean,
Lord
like,
knows
is there?
me.
How do you
they?
quantify when you forgive someone?
Well, I'll tell you, and
Well,
I made multiple mistakes in my life, but
I would
I'm
say
not running for president of the United States. So I would not dare step up and let
wait,
anybody find the skeleton bones in my
wait.
closet as
Uh,
running for the president of the United
hold on,
States.
Pat.
that's true.
Hold on. Are you telling me the person that runs for the president? Would you rather the president be fallible, or would you want to have the illusion of he's perfect? Right? Because
Give
everybody's
me,
fallible. But so I mean, like, where do you draw the line? Where do you
I
draw?
draw it. I draw it right here. Give me the illusion,
What? But
because
That's fake.
all the darkness comes to light eventually. But don't
But
step
why
up
would
to
you
me
want
and
that?
say, okay,
Why
so
would you
you're
want that to come out in a time where you can't do nothing else about it? Like, no, be upfront. Let people. One thing you can say, you got to give it to Trump. He is who he is, and
eh,
he. It's not a facade. Like
eh,
he is who he is.
I'll tell you the difference in that is because at the end of the day, if I believe someone was good and they show me bad, I have plausible deniability. This man lets you know up front that he's awful. He's
Disappoint me
and,
up front, not
and
after I
awful
done already, have my hopes high for you. Like disappoint me up front, so I know who you are.
is
Reveal yourself right now. Like that's
is
what Trump is, who he is, and
ten,
that's
so,
what I like
like
so
about
you
him.
won't.
10 says
So
exactly,
okay,
Angela.
so
Exactly, Angela.
okay,
That's what.
so Angela, so if somebody disappointed you up front, would you marry him? Excuse me. Excuse
I
me.
mean,
Don't
no,
stutter like
I
that.
wouldn't. Well, it just depends.
You,
It
you,
depends.
so, would you, would,
Okay, so if we
if
can be
somebody
technical,
disappointed you up
so
front and showed you how bad he was, would you marry him?
repeat that one more time.
If somebody showed you how bad they were up front,
No, no,
all the way,
I
would
would
you?
not. I would not marry. Well, it just depends on what bad is. Like some bad you can kind of work with, but it's
So
some that
you,
is I have zero tolerance for.
so you've had a
It's
life.
I have some non-negotiables, but
So,
it just depends on what do you mean bad.
so
As far as Trump, like you got to take the good with the bad. I feel like him being, he got some good to him, but you know, but
that's
he is who he is. Like I respect anybody that is them authentic self.
And Pat, let me say this. Let me say this about Trump. He did give us a stimulus. He gave Americans a stimulus package. Joe Biden or any president, I don't even think did Barack Obama give people stimulus packages, a
No,
stimulus during COVID. I
no.
mean, Pat. I mean,
well,
how now? She has a point. Like you got to take the good with the bad. But I'm just trying to.
okay. So the good with so that stimulus. Does anybody have any of that money left? Can somebody call in and tell me
You
what
have
they?
that's what I was saying. Like you have a lot of minorities that use that money and flipped it and became entrepreneurs, became their own bosses. So he did
Yeah.
create a lot of African American entrepreneurs,
I'd
young
like to.
African American, if
Well,
I can
why?
add that.
Why are they not calling in to the show? So
I
I would
didn't.
like.
I
I would
just put the
like to.
number up. I just
I
put
would
the
like
number up.
for a vast reach out of this platform to ask anybody who is still surviving on the money that the stimulus checks cost. Because here's
I don't know if that's gonna call,
you
but go
know
ahead.
giving money to people who aren't educated or have a platform to create wealth in it
So you're saying
makes them okay for the short term. But I'd like to hear from how many people benefited from that in the long term, and I want some of those people to get on. Hey, man, I used my stimulus money and I built a thriving business. If you know some of them, tell them to call in or send a message into the show. If you know some of them, tell them to send a message so I can
absolutely.
I
I
can see that okay. So and then what kind of business was it? Was it a business that was probably going to take off anyway without the investment, or was it something that they just dreamed out of the air? So because you look at when you say successful, do you mean enough money to get by so they don't have to work for anybody else, or do you mean somebody that's eventually going to end up on the cover of Forbes? Because that's the separating
so
factor. What.
Hold on, real quick before you go to further. Hey, Detroit, yeah, we understand it's not. We just saying we know it's not free, right? We know it's not free money.
yeah,
Plus, they did tax that money if you received it. I believe they did tax that
yeah.
stimulus, but still, we're saying that he did
He did
offer.
more
Yeah, I didn't.
for us as color than our actual president that is of color.
That's
Oh,
tough.
of
Well,
That's
it's
color.
tough.
well. Let's
So
talk about it. We can talk
yeah,
about
let's talk about it.
it.
So the president of
I
color,
support none. I support none
the
of them.
the the, the president of color fought all kind of people of not color to make health care affordable. When you have a
Is it
country,
really affordable?
oh yeah, you know what?
It's a very good
It's
question. Very good question.
anything. Is it affordable? It's a better attempt than what we have. Canada does it for free. Do you understand that? Canada does it for free.
And obviously, he had the power to provide free health care because to all because if they were able to have funding for stimulus, then I mean the funds
They
were there. He could
they
have at
they
least
they
he
fought
could
him.
have at least
They
provided that.
they fought the man for lower cost health care. They would have never let him go free. They would have never let. They wouldn't even entertain the bill for free. He fought to get it at lower cost, and a lot of people benefited from that. And so, what did Trump say? When I get in office, I'm going to put it into Obamacare day one. Didn't happen. Okay, you got some white people that are interviewed. Yeah, I hated Obamacare, but I'm on the Affordable Health Care Act, and that works great for me. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You listen to people who interpret the words that comes out of Trump's mouth. So there's so many promises that he made to so many people that didn't happen. All the things he was going to do day one. This man wants to shut down the Department of Education, the Department
Yep.
of
He
Education.
wants to shut down the Department of Education.
So you
Yes.
got a man that wants to shut down a, a branch of people who should be working harder to pay teachers more than they're paying senators,
Yeah, I do
because
agree with that.
they're forming the future of our kids. Senators are forming the future of white supremacy that is
I
controlling the minds of what is going on in this world.
and we agree
Democrat and
there.
Republicans on the same side, and we're caught up in this whole thing thinking that we have a good job and a nice house and a nice car, and we're above all of that, no matter what color we are. But when you're walking down the street, go ahead, Will, because I got
I
this
was going.
one more point to make.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish your point, but I kind of what do you, I mean him shutting down the Department of Education. I mean, look at our education system over the since it's been implemented. I don't know how long it's been since the Department of Education, but we have not come that far. So to me, I don't really have an issue with him shutting down the Department of Education. I like to see where we go.
Hey, me either.
Yeah, yeah,
Me either. I
Pat. Yeah,
mean,
Where,
Pat.
where, where do you think we would go?
I
Where
don't
do you think?
know.
So, what is it going to be? Who's going to govern what the kids go through? Who's going to build the curriculum? Who's going to make the rules and regulations? So, what now? We got teachers that are freewheeling it. So, the Department of Education can't even fight for these teachers to get raises that the government's continue to deny. So, who's going to fight on behalf of the teachers? Have you talked to a school teacher and asked them what would happen if the Department of Education was shut down? Have you talked to a teacher about that? You
Nope.
can talk about you can talk about bad education in the state that you're in. In the state that I'm in, it's fantastic.
Well, I think we
It's
need to
it,
define education, right? We need to define what that is. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
well, in the state that I'm in, it's great. It's nothing like where I came from where you live now. It's completely different. So it works in areas, but to shut it down overall where it's working. So where's the money going to go when they shut down the Department of Education? I'll tell you where it's going to go. It's going to go to private schools where the rich people don't really need it. It's going to go to fund all the private schools where all the privileged kids have more than they need, because that money's going somewhere.
you. But isn't that how what's been happening for centuries since the inception of the United States? Everything
mhm.
goes to the privileged. Nothing goes to us.
Well, as long as we can hold on to things like the Department of Education, it's a little snippet in
I,
what we still hang on to and believe in. There's still some things that we need to believe in that eventually will work if the right person gets in office. We haven't had the right person in office for a long time.
Okay,
A
so let
very
me ask you this. What would be your ideal president?
My ideal president would be somebody that
excellent question.
that calls executive orders that benefit the people who are not wealthy, who are not privileged. Okay, it would everything, the tariffs and everything that he's signing off on. You don't think that's going to make everything in the world? This man said, "Oh, I'll bring down grocery prices. I'll bring down gas prices." Another lie. They haven't gone down. They're going to go up, and they're going to go up higher because everything that's being shipped in here, those people have to pay taxes, tariffs on it to bring it here. They're going to charge us more for it, and
Mm.
that's going to be passed along to the American people. So my ideal president would be somebody that, and we won't have an ideal president. Let me put it that way, because it's not a dictatorship here. So you still have stuffed neck, tight suit supremacy running the Senate and the government that can still deny everything he wants to give that benefit the American people. So
Okay.
we can't get past that. So I can't give you my ideal president. I can give him to you and put him on a nice shiny platter and spin him around. But at the end of the day, no matter if he says everything I want him to say, the Senate can still come back and say, No, I'm sorry, but N-word, no.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So say okay, or just explain a little bit on my view of why I stand with him doing what he doing now. When it comes to ICE and everything, I
Mm.
1000% do not stand behind that. But when you talk about um raising tariffs and everything, I feel like you have that, I'm not here to pay. I mean, I'm not agreeing that I want to pay more for anything, but I think that's good great for building jobs here, creating more jobs here in America. Do
What
you
what
get what I'm saying?
I,
Because
I do, but what kind of jobs though? Are they white collar jobs? Nope. They're blue collar jobs. They are down in the dirt working jobs. And who does that now? The people that he's deporting. So who's going to do it then? So your next demotion, if he gets rid of the okay, so let's get diversity and inclusion out of the workplace so you can hire who you want to. So now we're losing all of the people that are coming from the other side of any wall or any sea that will do these jobs at a lower cost to keep cost reasonable for people to provide to the public. Who's going to do them? It's going to trickle down to us. It's going to trickle down to the people that get bumped for jobs because we don't have diversity and inclusion in the workplace, and we lose our job or get deported. It's a methodological system to put us back in the place that we've been before. So who's going to do those jobs? Oh, yeah, well, I can promote 15, 20 white people. Now I don't have to listen to
but
the
have
black
you
people or the Hispanic people,
okay, well
but
let's think
there's
about
jobs out there for them. So now we're back to picking cotton if it comes down to it.
I wouldn't say that. You have to think about it. It's 2025. A lot of jobs is innovated. So you have robots that are doing things and I mean that's really doing the labor. And I think moving forward, like we have Chat GPT where it's like AI generated. Okay, and hear me on this. Things
Mhm.
will be more um
Uh, uh,
it'll be more technical.
more
So you'll
automated.
need technicians where, that will put African Americans and minorities in that, field where they are able to be, engineers or techs and can kind of work the robots or things like that. I know at where we work, William and I work, we do have robots too, and we also have people that actual people that work in the warehouse also. So I don't think it's like slave work. I try to think big, try to see past, the negative and
Yeah,
try to think positive. I'm trying to see, I'm trying to give him a chance and kind of see his point of view,
Yeah, and Timmy
or at
says
least what I think is his point of view.
right, and Timmy agrees with you, Angela. He said, "Pat, the man has only been in office for 2 weeks." That's what
Yeah.
no,
Timmy
the
said.
man has been the man has been in office for 4 years and 2 weeks.
Okay, hold on, hold on. Good on that point. Detroit says Trump said it will take time to lower prices down, and he also is not anti-immigration either. But
What?
go back to Tinman's point. He's
Oh,
only been
yeah,
in office a
yeah.
couple of
Okay.
weeks.
So yeah, okay. We're in an let's say this mythical world of AI comes to fruition. Okay, because right now it hasn't. There's still going to be human interaction needed, but it'll be a lot
Right.
less. It'll be a lot less human interaction needed. So you get rid of diversity and inclusion in the workplace. I still don't agree with that equity thing because I think I know what equity stands for, and it's just another hit against people who are middle class or below her. I don't even know why the word equity is in there, because to me it rings a bell about people who aren't wealthy. So that's something that shouldn't be in there. It should be diversity and inclusion. Period.
Mhm.
Equity. What's equity? It's what somebody is worth to me.
Mm-hmm.
And how can anybody say what anybody is worth when it comes to the workplace? But let's go on with this whole thing. So these jobs open up. So 1,000 jobs are gone, but there's 10 high scale openings for these technicians to run all of this. Out of 1,000 jobs gone, without diversity and inclusion in the workplace, do you really think they're going to get five non-white people to fill those positions, depending on who's president? Do you think that they're going to actually really revert to, something that all of a sudden includes everybody else? If you want to get rid of something that involves inclusion of everybody, that's a bold statement right off the bat that he's not ashamed of making. That should be an alarm in everybody's head that this man does not want the world to be equal. Simply that one thing. But we got to back up to things that he's done. He's only been in office 2 weeks,
2 weeks, yes.
Mr.
Two
Comment. Yeah.
weeks.
So I say 4 years in 2 weeks, and then not being quiet for the 4 years that he missed,
So you have
and,
to
and
you have to
incited,
allow
and
him
is,
time to clean things up. Like you just can't come in
but
and
but
uh,
he had 4 years last time to clean things up. And what happened? It
did
led to
he
him.
really have 4 years?
He had a whole 4 years. What president didn't? Although he was impeached twice. Thank you for bringing that up.
He
He
was
was
impeached
impeached.
twice.
Any president that was impeached once in his term should not be allowed to rerun for president. This man was impeached twice for wrongdoings. So then we go on to when he was not, when he lost the presidency. He incited a riot against the most sacred tradition this world, the United States, has. So he didn't cause it, but his tweets, and this is stuff out of his mouth now. It's not the news telling me this because I don't watch the news.
Mhm.
This man tweeted to everybody to show up. It'll be wild. He tweeted to one of the most racist groups in the world to show up, show out. And everybody forgives this guy for that. This is the man that you heard on tape talking about where to grab women. Guess what? Should that be legal? If it is, tell me the state. I'm going to head there to visit to see if that can
I
go off.
absolutely do not think like
But that's
yeah, a
but
lot
that
of things I
this
don't
came
agree with,
this
but it's
this
some
came
that
out
I
of his
do.
mouth. This came out of his mouth. And when you say you support this guy, you can't just think about one good thing you like about what he said. You got to encompass the entire work, his body of work over
Mhm.
the years that he's been out here with that.
Mhm.
You got to think about everything that he's done, not just, oh, we're 2 weeks into this. It's it's gotten it's gotten worse after 2 days. So how long do you need to wait? Like I told Will yesterday, I got a year to come back to this show and see what's gotten better. I
Mm.
want everybody to pull out a profitable paycheck. I want them to show me the price of gas, the price of eggs. We waited for this in this first administration, and it didn't happen. Oh yeah, we got a stimulus check. Hey, I enjoyed that too.
Mm.
I enjoyed that too. But really? But then what else did he do?
Let me ask you this though, Pat. Don't you look? Okay, so let's look at Barack Obama, Joe Biden's record.
Yeah.
Who was before them? George W. Bush. Now, all of them basically seem to kind of bring support the same policies, right? Even though Barack and Joe Biden were so-called Democrats, to me they felt more like uh, conservatives. So Trump comes in and he is kind of doing things totally different. Like he's not doing anything by the standard. So I mean, is that a bad thing? Because based on history and evidence, presidents have not supported anything for us.
It it
And
it
and
would
so,
be it would be great. Go ahead, Will. I'm sorry.
oh no, no, go ahead. I just want to
It
keep
it,
that
it would
conversation
it,
changed
it
up.
would be a great thing, but just the simple fact that we are all the same race right here on the phone right now, and there are other people that will chime in that are of a different race right now, and we're having just because we're having this discussion and this debate, he has succeeded in dividing us. He has divided us. And don't you think he's happy with that? He's got us arguing about a man who has done more harm than good, clearly. And we are arguing about it. We are discussing it. We are debating about what's good and what's bad about a man. He's won already. Because we
Mm,
wouldn't even be having this argument or this discussion
discussion.
if we were on a page where, hey, he doesn't care about anybody. He's an equal opportunity racist. He hates everybody except rich people. And his voter base, and this is facts, are uneducated white men. His voter base is the strength of his campaign falls on uneducated white men. So when I see educated black women, I see educated Hispanic women, I see educated black men. So how do I rank them? I mean, I don't look at you as an uneducated white man, but that you're falling into that base
Mm-hmm.
of supporting for him. So that's his base, uneducated people. Why? Because they have the strength not to listen to the facts about what this man is doing. The division and divisiveness of what Donald Trump is doing to the world is unprecedented. You know, all the other presidents, as good a game as they talked, they are still tied by the hands of what controls Congress in this world. And it's lobbyists, senators that are getting kickbacks from gun companies, from alcohol, whatever the big companies are, insurance, the worst thing in the world. They're getting kickbacks from all of that and live in their stuffy white world where they don't have to pass anything down, but blocking something that's going to stop the money from rolling through their pockets. So, everybody's afraid of Mexicans hopping the wall, killing people. It's who's killed more people in the United States than anybody else? White people, white men, Trump's voter base. So, uneducated white men, the same ones that attacked the insurrection. I mean, that's crazy to me to phantom a world where this man has done so much wrong to even be allowed. If he was any other color, do you not think something would have been added to the Constitution to not let him run for president again? There's no reason he should have been allowed to run for president again after all he's done. You can't get a job at Walmart if you have a felony, but you can run for president if you got 34. So that I'm just trying to and
I
this is
got a.
why I'm reaching out to people for what do you see happening here, and we got to wait another 4 years to really see it, how it's going to hurt. So you
I have
know
another question for you, but one is Angela, you have a fan. One really likes you.
Mhm.
His name is One.
Thank you.
It's America get richer and immediately get on Trump's good side. That's what One says. Go ahead, Angela. I know you want to respond because that's a lot. That's a lot to take in about Trump. He's listed a lot of bad stuff about Trump, but you
well,
still.
I'm sorry.
I
And
just
his
want to ask this one question. If you feel so strongly against Trump, why didn't you vote?
Because well, there's a couple of reasons. One of them is going to be the harsh reality, to
And
you.
you want to know why he won? Because it's people like you.
No, I didn't vote because there was not a qualified candidate on either side. If there
Again,
was
if you feel so
if there was some,
strongly, you
who would I
have this
voted
hate
for?
against Trump. Again,
So
it's
I
people
should have
like
just
you, the reason why he's in office.
so
It
I
don't
should
matter
have
if he's
voted
qualified or not.
so I should have voted out of hate instead of what I feel.
I mean,
Go
I
ahead and
mean
say it. Go ahead and say
your
yeah.
opinions are
Yeah, go
out
ahead
of
and say
hate.
yeah.
So I mean,
No,
why
no,
not?
my opinions are out of facts. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris because I didn't think she could run the country either. So that's why I didn't vote. If there was somebody that I felt that could run the country, I would have voted. But I didn't vote because I didn't like either side. I'm not just going to vote out of spite, no matter how much I dislike him. I'm not going to vote and end up being the deciding factor on one vote that somebody I didn't think could run the country to win. So I set this one out, not out of not voting and not doing my part. There was nobody qualified to be president of the United States. So I'm not just going to go, hey, well, Camilla, I don't like you either, but I don't like this guy more. So let me just vote for you. And then the you squeak by, and now I'm complaining another 4 years about the person I voted for.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have young adults that's close to you as in your family as far as like children or I'm not
Girl,
for sure how old you are or
I spent
maybe
I spent
grandchildren?
I spent 8 years raising a grandson. I've raised kids that have gone on and gone to college.
So why not
I
vote for him?
Why?
Or
Be,
oh, you said he's grown now. Okay, okay. If he's grown, so
no,
a lot of times when I make decisions, especially when it comes to politics or
hmm
decisions, period, it's for
yeah,
my children. I have to kind of put myself to the side because I can handle me. I look at when my in the next 4 years, my children will be grown. So I
okay,
like to see like I vote as to who's better for my children.
for your children. So
Hmm.
do you allow your children to I guess stay politically informed about anything?
I do educate them on that.
Okay, so when his ties to racist groups and white supremacy, do you let them know about that?
Absolutely. My son and I,
Okay.
we actually watched the 13th Amendment the day before yesterday. And, it was sometimes, I mean, it was some parts where I had to pause and break it down or just to see if he was following along or comprehended what happened and what they were saying. So, absolutely.
Just have you? I know they some schools even tried to ban to teach about slavery or Black history in school. Is he well aware of Black history as an African American child growing up in this world? I'm not saying to teach him to be a racist, but to be aware. So let me ask you this: this is
Mhm.
and then you can respond.
Real quick,
Uh,
and hold that question because I got something I want to one comment, and then you can go ahead. One
Okay.
wants to know, Pat. This is a question for you. You can hold it after she answers. Why are you in this conversation if you didn't even vote? It's the reason why Walmart won't hire Pat. Okay, he didn't because
Well,
he
well,
can't. But go ahead.
he missed the whole point I just made.
Yeah,
I
you did
didn't
just
vote.
explain.
I didn't vote because there was not a qualified candidate, and I'm not just going to vote out of hate to get somebody that I complain about for the next 4 years. That's why. If I believed in somebody, I would vote. I didn't vote because there was no one qualified to run the country. So why would I vote? And then we're on this same topic, 3 years from now, and I'm complaining about why I dislike Kamala Harris
Well,
because I knew she wasn't qualified at first.
can
So why
you
would I vote for her?
can you dispel a big myth about people saying if you don't vote you can't complain? Right. I think that's a myth people have. Can you
Again,
explain like
I'm
how
not.
you are part of? I'm part of the
I'm not.
society as well. But go ahead.
I'm not complaining. See, that's what people are not understanding. I'm not complaining about anybody. I'm telling you facts about who you're supporting. I'm asking you for the facts that you have about who you're supporting. Awareness is a powerful thing. So I'm not accusing anybody about who they voted for or who they I just want to know why. I don't dislike you because who you voted for. I just want to know why. That's and so these guys or people lashing at me about why didn't I vote? How can I not be part of the problem? That's not what I'm here for. I told you clearly why I didn't vote. I told you why I don't watch news. I don't want my information from anything but the facts. So I'm telling you things that I heard from the president's mouth myself. Myself. Nobody's convincing me of anything. What I want to know is what you heard, what you feel that you heard. So nobody should ask me why I didn't vote because it's clearly out there. If you, okay, if two people that you dislike at school get into a fight, you're going to wait to see who wins to criticize the other. So why would I do that? Why would I do that when I don't like either one? Why would I put that in my plate? And then you're like, okay, like Snoop said, oh, whoever performs for Donald Trump is a jigaboo and all of this. And then he performs for Trump. So you guys want a reason to talk about me because I voted for Camilla and then complain about her later? I'm not giving you that. I'm sorry. Look to that from somebody else. I didn't vote because there was no one qualified to run the country in my eyes. That's why I didn't vote. So I'm not part of the problem. I mean, I may if enough people would take a stand not to vote for two unqualified people, you know, it may be part of the solution. You
But
know,
he said okay, that's about Angela. He likes Angela for sure.
Uh, I
And
like her
Tinman
too.
said Angela's on fire too. She said something back a little while ago that he was like, "We got some people in here that support Trump." Patty said, "If you voted, you know there are several other things on the ballot than just president. You have a voice in America. They let you write a candidate in if you don't like the ones offered."
How has that worked for you in the past?
But
It,
it would
it
have
goes
allowed you,
it goes nowhere. Talk reality. It goes nowhere. It would have allowed me to be an unsung minority of something that nobody ever knows or cares about.
but at least you could have had people would have took you more seriously, as far, and not saying that we don't take you seriously, but we wouldn't be debating on why you are even having an issue with who's the president. I mean, you have to exercise your right to vote to even have an
So
opinion, right?
so voting makes you a qualified American?
It don't, but we wouldn't
It,
even be having this conversation as to why you have an opinion.
well, it would just have made me madder if I voted against Trump and he won anyway. So what, it would have fueled my fire even more. So why bother with something that I've seen over the years doesn't work? You got in here, you got an electoral college in the United States, okay, where the popular vote doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So all these people running around talking about going to the polls and everything. You have an electoral college that gives a certain amount of votes to a state. No matter who votes in that state, if they win, the president gets a certain number of electoral votes. So you got small states that add up to more people voting. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Pretty much a lot of people that have run have won the popular vote, but they lost the presidency because how electoral votes are divided among states because of size or whatever. So voting isn't fair altogether anyway, unless you count everybody who voted, you count their votes, and you tell me who the president is, not the electoral college. You count everybody who voted and you tell me the numbers of who voted for who, not the number that you give a state because of their demographic, classification. So that's voting is a joke anyway. So it's
Yet we're
something
having a debate on who won.
it's something to believe in. Y'all have to have something to believe in. But think about it. You live in a state where how many electoral votes can go? Say you have 45 electoral votes, right? And there's another state that has 115 electoral votes, and everybody in your state voted for who you voted for,
Hmm.
and all you push up is 45 votes. You don't push up 115 votes like the other state. If they split the difference by one vote, all those electoral votes go to that candidate. So it doesn't matter how many people vote. It matters the state that they vote out of and how many electoral votes go to the person who's running. Is that fair? That's not fair. But I voted for all of these years knowing that that wasn't fair. But then I ran up into a wall where nobody was qualified to run for president. So I didn't vote.
Which is so, Angela. My question is: so he voted all the other years, all the other
Mhm.
years, but this year he didn't vote. So people still can criticize him not voting. I mean, he was just this one
Well,
time he felt that he didn't see any qualified candidates, and he just said, "I don't want to vote. I want to exercise my right and not vote." Is that an issue?
You know what? My bad. Well, I should have went in there and wrote you in. I should
Yeah,
have
you
said, you
can for
know,
sure. Because
hey,
Will for
I'm gonna tell you about
president.
white first. I'm
Will
gonna tell you about his
Baxter
white
for
supremacy.
president. Let me write.
So, to answer your question, did you have a debate on presidency when, or who won the presidency when you did vote? Or is it just now you're having a debate on
Oh,
who's the
debate
president?
debating is my life. You know,
Okay, so you
I
did.
yeah,
So you did.
I had comment, but I voted because I felt someone was better. And you know what? Even I was kind of iffy with the Biden administration, but I did feel just a touch better about them, you know,
So,
than the Trump administration because of what we came out of with Trump. And Biden did nothing for me. So
oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like,
so I'm
do
like,
you feel
okay,
better?
so do I want two losses in a row? If I you know, hey, if I'm fighting a guy that's 900 pounds and has bigger fists than me, and he gives me a bloody beatdown, do I want to fight him again? No. So I didn't vote this time because I saw another couple of losers. So I didn't want to go through the same thing I did with Biden.
Okay, so okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really. It's people who criticize other people for not voting really need to understand why they didn't. You can't just say you're not an American or you're not right because you didn't vote. So
No, I'm
you
not
ran out and
saying.
voted for somebody just because you think it's the right thing to do, and it's in your mind that it's the right thing to do. Why? Why? Because where did this all come from? The voting, the everything. Let's elect the president and have all this fairness to elect the president. Where was that ingrained in our mind from slavery to the point where we got the right to vote? And where was that put in our mind that we had to go out and vote?
It's a good question,
I,
Angela.
I, I feel like I feel like we should vote for our ancestors that did not have a voice, and again for our future leaders, which is the youth. I feel like we should vote for them. Like, keep in mind whether you have to take, sometimes you have to take emotions out of things, and even though you feel like neither was a great candidate, you still should have voted in some type of way. Hell, you could put your own name on there.
Yeah, I just don't
Just
get. But who?
exercise your rights to vote as an African American.
But
But
I feel like that's
who
very
told us?
important.
but
So
he
we
did
have two.
vote for. He
Who?
voted for like every year,
I'm
right?
saying this year, it don't matter every
That's what I was
year.
wondering. That's what I was
But who
wondering.
You're
told
in,
us?
if you're African American, you should vote for
So
the past, the present, and the future.
well, there is no past, the present, and the future running for office. But who told
Again, that's
us
when you should have
who?
jotted down
So
your name or William's name.
there's and it would have been the unsung minority, and I would have stood in line for 3 hours for nothing. But who told us that? There's two different things
But
now.
you're gonna talk,
Who
but you're
told us?
gonna you're gonna
Who
debate
told us
about
that
it for
we
three
could?
hours.
Who told us that we could vote?
I'm sorry.
Who told us first off that we could vote, and now who's telling us that we should vote? Two different sets of people. Who told us that we could vote? White people told
Good
us that we
Yeah.
point.
could vote. Now who's telling us that we should vote? We're telling each other that. They divided us again. So we of the same race are sitting here. I'm listening to you tell me I should have voted no matter what. When we were granted permission to vote by white people, we wouldn't even have this right if they didn't tell us, oh, yeah, you guys can go ahead and vote now. Now we're sitting here telling each other you should have voted from a right that we didn't even have at first until it was given to us by
Well, we have
somebody
it
else.
now.
Yep, we have it now. And what do
We
we
have it
do with
now.
it? What do we do with it? The wrong thing. Because
Right, like not voting.
no, by
And then
voting for
complain
somebody.
about who becomes president.
So what do you have against
Sounds like a
what?
plan to
So
me.
what do you have against Camilla Harris? Let me ask you that. What do you have against
Again,
Camilla Harris?
again, I have nothing against her. I think she's about as fake as Don. I can't say fake as Donald Trump. Donald Trump is who
Oh,
he is, but I
watch out
believe that
now,
she is
faker.
fake.
Go ahead and say it.
Let me rephrase that. She's
We don't
not
have to be
she
politically
because
correct
by
here.
any means,
Nah,
anybody
yeah,
would
do
tell
your
you.
thing.
Everybody know Donald Trump is not fake. He is who he is. He put them cards out there, and he allow you to. It's no gray area with him. It's black and white. You choose. You choose with him. It's no option. Like as far, I mean, what I'm trying to say, Lord, that just came out wrong. But you get what you get and you don't throw a fit with him, okay? Like everybody voted for him. I mean, you hate to love him. Like you gotta respect the man because he speak his mind and he's stuck in his ways, okay?
But you wouldn't.
But when it
But
comes
you
to
wouldn't.
Go ahead,
Okay, I'm
Angela. Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go
No, go
ahead.
ahead, Angela.
Go ahead. My bad.
okay, so the reason why I didn't vote for her was because again, like I said, she is a woman in a lot of the
Ding ding
countries
ding
that
ding
we're
ding ding
fighting
ding.
against. I'm
Oh, let her
sorry.
finish. This is gonna be good. Go
No,
ahead, Angela.
I'm
A lot of
sorry.
the
She
countries
just
that we, fight against, they don't even, women have no rights, no voice, no nothing. So of course they're gonna look at her as a joke or look at America as a joke, which they already do. And then on top of that, she just, I feel like it's just fake. Like it just gives fake. When you look at the, her debates and everything, it was like more so of a shit show.
And can I
but
add to this right
but
real quick
The
about Kamala Harris? So check this out. She did not have a plan for black people until black
exactly.
people were like, hey, you need to have a plan for black people. You need to put some out. So she put some for black males. She had to put a plan out for black males because black men were like, hey, you ain't doing anything for us. And she didn't say anything for us until black people started to complain and say, hey, where is the plan for black men?
Mhm.
Why didn't she have a plan already in place for black people?
Yeah, and people are asking me why didn't I vote for her? Why didn't I just go vote?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Y'all sound really crazy because you're telling me how bad she is, and but on
I
the other hand,
don't
you should have voted for somebody. You should have picked one of them, dude.
We're no one said pick
I
one of
don't
them.
agree
You
with
had the option to write in a person's name.
so as far the thing that I said, ding ding ding, I wanted to remember because the words came out of your mouth. You said because she's a woman. Okay. So we all know that there's an unspoken dislike for women against women because 90% of the women,
No, 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 no,
hold on, hear me
no,
out. Hold on,
no.
hear me out,
Okay,
hear me
I'm gonna
out.
hear you out, but I'm a
How
no.
many women, and guys can back me on this, how many women have you talked to when well, guys, how many women have we talked to that says, hey, how many female friends do you have? What's the first thing that comes out of a lot of women's mouth?
I
Oh
don't mess
no,
with
I
females.
don't
I don't
have a
have.
lot of. Yeah,
But
exactly.
let me tell you, I love females, especially females that's in powerful positions. I am a feminist 100%, and I
Ex-
believe that what a man can do, a woman can do.
but you don't
But
want to put one as
again,
president.
I have to think about my children's future. And when it comes to a
And
woman running the country, at least right now, I feel
that's
like we're not ready for that.
that's not that is that is
And
hilarious
then on
on
top of
so
that,
many.
she's not
You
the
talk
woman
about,
for it. I feel like she's not the woman for it. Had she been a more reliable candidate woman, of course I would have voted for her. Of course, without
oh,
a shadow of a doubt, I would have. I
yeah,
would
but
have proudly voted for her. I would
it's
love to see a woman running for
it's
president.
it is
Or
so.
running, or president, not running for president, but an actual
Pat,
president.
Pat, did you think she should have voted for her because she was a black woman? Come
No,
on, you're
no,
not saying that,
no,
are you?
no. But I'm just talking about, what she said at the onset of that, a woman. So here's my thing. Why as a country are we not ready to let a woman lead this country and represent this country. We haven't
It's
been. We haven't. We're not. We're not there yet. And why?
what has
Why?
she
Why?
done as vice president for four
Hey,
years?
I didn't vote for. That's the same thing I told people last night. And that's what again why I didn't vote, because neither one of those candidates, honestly, I really have better things to do than to go write in somebody's name on the ballot that ain't going nowhere. You guys have time to stand in line and do that, so be it. You can do it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It'll never go anywhere. No one will ever remember you for doing that. So you don't just because somebody tells you your voice doesn't mean anything because you didn't vote. That is as wrong as not wanting to think that the world can be ran by a woman. And I hear that so many times from other women. You women, if you guys want to stick together, it's as bad as minorities. You think we're divided? Women are so divided. Why would Hey, what can you do to voice an opinion where a qualified woman can understand the rights of anything else? But why are we not ready to let a woman lead the country? What's the fear? We've tried everything else, and we are still in trouble. The American people are still hurting. We've tried everything else. All
Well,
white,
first of
all
all,
whites, all whites, and one black. We've never had a woman.
it's
Give a
a
woman a
lot
shot.
of things going on in America right now that need somebody. We need somebody in office that can clean up the mess. And then on top of that, so that's one. Then secondly, again, what has she done? I'm not opposed to a woman being
Ooh.
president, but
You
she
Wait,
just
just
said you
can
wasn't
y'all
the
just
hear
said
me?
right
Can y'all hear me?
one.
you just said that you are though. You just said you don't feel a woman's not ready to lead
I'm
this
not
country because of your
okay.
kids.
I'm saying like if it wasn't so much that was going on in America, I feel like if she would have made some type of changes. Hell, let me tell you something. What's her name? Michelle Obama.
Oh, I'm all.
She
Hey,
could have ran,
I'm down with that, but
and I would have voted for her.
you
Okay,
know
let's
what?
be
I
real,
think
because she
I
made a
think
difference.
and I
She
think
made
she
a difference. She
I
did
think
more
she
for
I
the
I, I
she did more in those 8 years
as a
for
as not even
everybody, for
and she wasn't
anybody than
even
her husband
and
did.
she wasn't a vice president. So
And
she
she
did a
wasn't
great job.
okay. She's the
So,
first lady, and she
but
was she was making things
you know
happen.
why I didn't, you know why I know my belief is why she didn't run
I would never vote for
is
her.
because, Will, your mic is muted or something.
Yeah, I
If you're
know.
saying something,
No, go ahead.
your mic is muted. But if
Yeah, I know. I
the
wanted y'all to
reason,
talk.
okay, the reason that she didn't run to me is because of what you just said. The American people aren't ready for a woman. I mean, the powers that be are not ready for a woman to run the country. So she would have lost and saw how the world turned their back on a woman.
I don't believe
That
that she thinks she would have
hey,
lost.
why
I
is
just
it?
think that she didn't want to go up against.
Mm-mm. Dude, she knows the powers that be. Her husband knows the powers that be.
Okay.
You know, he knows the powers that be. It was an uphill struggle for her because maybe not you, but there's a whole lot of women out there that would have sit here and said the same thing about her that they did about Kamala Harris. They would have
Hmm.
picked her. They would have picked her apart because she's a woman. And what you said, your statement, a woman is not ready to lead this country. And I believe that is in the heart of so many Americans. That
Again, I said if there was a strong, see, you are twisting my words. If it was a
oh,
strong
I'm sorry. I thought I
woman,
just repeated what you said. My bad.
hey,
I,
no,
I,
Real
no. If
quick.
it was a strong woman that and God forbid let her be black, she would have been. I would have made sure. I would have did everything, protest everything, made. I would have supported her 1,000% again because I'm a feminist and I feel like women can do anything that men can do. I think we do things better. Okay,
but not run the
but she
country.
just
But not
wasn't
around
the
the country. That's
wasn't the
funny.
right one, and I feel like Trump, he did do things for Americans, minorities, more things, gave us more
What?
opportunities, not more things, but gave us more opportunities than anybody else.
With free money. So you think Hillary
Yeah,
Clinton? You think
with free. Who
Hillary?
don't?
You,
I mean,
you
you have to
think you
understand.
think Hillary
People,
Clinton would have made good president?
Hillary.
Why? Because of something that Trump put in your head about emails when this man stole documents from the White House and kept them at his facility. He stole documents from the White House. Is there nothing that Trump supporters listen to that this man does bad that they consider bad? That's
What
a
does
national.
that have to do
It's a
with the
national security
opportunity he
threat.
gave? The opportunities he gave minorities.
You know,
He's
it's hard.
creating jobs for
What jobs?
Americans, and let's keep let's take minorities out of. He's creating jobs for Americans
Do you have the
and
statistics?
keeping money within the U.S.
Do you have the statistics on that? Because I do. Do you?
I don't.
Okay. Well,
I'm not gonna lie, I
I
don't.
don't. I'm not a statistics guy, but you are wrong. So, I mean, people who thought that he cleared the border, that he was going to make Mexico pay in his first administration, you're wrong. Whoever thought that, you're wrong. Facts clearly show themselves that you're wrong about that. So every just about everything that you think that he did for the good of the country boils down to maybe one or two things outside of the 80 or 90 that he did bad. And it's okay to overlook all of those things, including how he feels about women as a woman. It's okay for you to, to overlook all of that and still see the good in a guy that you wouldn't marry or hire in your company.
Well, we got this pause. Tinman says
Oh
Tinman says Michelle said on Oprah the show that she would never run. I think I remember hearing that.
yeah,
And
she did.
and one has a vendetta against you, Pat. The guys down at the bus stop never argue so many strong points against Pat. He feels attacked, I think. Pat only used pepper on his food because the salt too white. Yeah, hey, me and Pat, we think alike on some things. Go ahead, man.
So how, ooh, man, how at where he said
I think one did
at the
not
bus
at the
bus
bus
stop or bus
bus
at,
stop. Yeah, bus stop.
oh
He's
but
yeah, he didn't like when
oh,
you were saying that you didn't vote, which I think that kind of he didn't like that at all. But go ahead, Pat.
well, maybe who knows, if he would have sent me his name, I would have voted for him. I would have put a write in him as a write-in candidate if he felt so strongly about me not voting. If you feel so strongly about somebody not voting, put your name up, run for office as a write-in, and tell people if you don't like what's going on, get a few dollars together, form a campaign. Say if you don't like either one of the parties, vote for me. Who did that? Who did that? Who ran any kind of a campaign against the people that no one wanted to vote for? So where do they fall? What place do they fall in? Other than the accused that you don't matter in society because you didn't vote, because you didn't agree with anybody. So who stood up and ran that say, okay, well, I have a choice now. Here's guy number 3 or 4 that I can go vote for because I believe in him. Who did that? Nobody. Nobody did that. So you're boiling it down still to the same 2 people that I didn't like anyway. So you're boiling it down. It's just if people really would just stop that one thing, I think more people the next year would have a more conscious effort to vote if they start listening to more platforms. But if you make people feel that they're disincluded from an opinion in this world because they didn't vote for 2 awful people, you're being divided again. You're being divided again. We're being divided, dude. We are being divided, and everybody is really falling for that.
Well, we're probably
We're
already
being
divided. We're probably already
Yeah,
divided.
yeah. I mean, and it's getting better. The gap is growing. When people are, like I said, if we weren't divided, we wouldn't be having this discussion against each other. This
Yeah.
is orchestrated and planned, you know, and it's been like that for years, and we're going to continue to go through that,
And
So,
real quick, I don't know how much longer you guys want to go. I don't want to keep y'all all night.
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
y'all
yeah.
might, if y'all want to wrap it up here.
Well,
Say
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Say it.
Angela, I've enjoyed your opinion. You know what? The strength to come on was, is great to me. Anybody that, I wish the young lady from last night would have returned.
Oh
Um,
yes, and Alicia.
yeah, yeah, because there were some things I just didn't understand that, about her that, how does Trump give you such a warm fuzzy to
Well,
make you turn on your own race?
well, I'm
You
sure
know,
she'll show up in
Wow.
in
yeah.
the in the next few days. I don't know. Timmy wants to know if we're gonna do this weekly. I'm sure we will. We've been trying. It's up to it's been up to Pat
Well,
and other people, but
we need to, but I want more of a voice. I mean, I'm speaking out, so speak out. Don't just tell me I didn't vote. Speak out something. Tell me your words. Don't just tell me I didn't vote so you don't hear me. You have the right not to hear me because I didn't vote. Speak out. Tell me your truth. I want to hear your truth. I honestly do. Because there's a list of factual information that'll come out at the end of this. But right now, I don't want to present any of it because I want to hear your truth about it.
hmm.
And that's all. So, hey, he didn't vote. He don't matter. You can't just dismiss somebody like that. Tell me what you feel. If you don't, then honestly, at the end of the day, you don't matter. If you don't have a voice, you don't matter. I don't have a voice, I don't matter. If you don't have a voice, you don't matter. So if you want to put something into the conversation, speak out. Don't just attack me or my ideas. You have an open forum to question anything I say or disagree with anything I say. Angela's a perfect example of that. So hey, all these people that are chiming in, hey, say something else. Say,
Maybe
okay,
we can get them to
yeah,
call in one the next time.
yeah.
Maybe one of
I
them will
mean,
call
Yeah.
in. Maybe
yeah,
10 minutes or one. We get y'all to
say,
call in, and
yeah,
then
say
y'all can
something
have this
else.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, say something else. Oh, he didn't vote. Say something else. We know I didn't vote. I told you that. I admitted that. So you didn't catch me in that. I told you that. So say something else. Tell me, you
Okay,
know.
so we'll get into that the next time because
Yep.
I'll do a little bit more research and
Hmm.
ask you a little bit more questions. Maybe
Oh,
I
you're
can
gonna
kind of
be.
take over next time.
You can, and you're gonna be so unhappy when you do your research. Me so.
Hey, but
Me so.
yeah, I don't know when we'll do this again, but I appreciate both of y'all for having that conversation. And
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
I'll see if I
Yep.
can find me some more
Thank
Trump
you
supporters.
all, even the people that chimed in.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know.
thank you guys. And I'll again, I don't know when we'll do this again. I'm sure it'll be soon. So I appreciate all of y'all for those that came through. If she come back, I'm subbing again. One really likes Angela. Angela
Oh,
had some people in the audience tonight, Pat. But that's just
well, and you know what? And they should say more. It
yes.
don't just make one comment about me if you're supporting her. Tell me your truth. Don't just say you support her and attack me. Tell me your truth. Don't tell me Angela's truth. Tell me your truth.
Well,
Beautiful, beautiful. I think we should end it
Okay.
right there, man. Timmy
Yep.
says, "Have a good night, Will, Angela, and Pat." Hey, good
Yep.
night, Timmy. Appreciate
have a
you,
good
man.
Good
night.
night, everybody.
And
Yes.
we will
One.
see y'all next time.
All
Yeah.
right.